Today, I want to talk about why John Carpenter's The Thing isn't just a great horror movie, it's one of the best films ever made. Before we get into it, just for a bit of quick context, John Carpenter's The Thing is actually a remake of The Thing from Another World, which came out in 1951, and both are based on the novel Who Goes There, which came out in 1938. Carpenter's version stars Kurt Russell, who is basically just peak male form, let's be honest.
Move, bishop to knight 4. My move, knight to rook 3.
Poor baby, you're starting to lose it, aren't you?
And the film centers around an alien life form who can imitate other life forms, and the crew, who are on a remote research station in Antarctica, are trying to figure out who is actually human and who is the alien life force.
What do you got in mind, McCready?
A little test. The windows. You and Palmer tie everybody down real tight.
What for?
For your health.
Come on, let's rush him. He's not gonna blow us all up.
I first watched The Thing when I was a teenager because my aunt recommended it to me. Shout out to my aunt. And honestly, it's just the film that made me fall in love with films as more of an art form rather than just something to sit down and watch. It made me want to understand why movies work, not just to watch them. And just a quick little fun detail as well, a little bit of IMDb trivia, if you will. In John Carpenter's Halloween, which is probably the film that made John Carpenter, the kids are watching The Thing from Another World on TV. You could say that Carpenter was literally foreshadowing his own masterpiece. So, what actually makes it good? First of all, we'll go with the tension. The film excels at building tension, and it does so in ways at the time that I'd never seen. For example, there's these long shots of empty corridors with ominous synth music that just really still stick with me to this day. It made me question, like, why am I scared of a corridor? And that is probably when I realized that I wanted to understand filmmaking on a deeper level. The second reason of why this film is so good is isolation. The film brilliantly portrays isolation. It is set in a remote base in Antarctica. There is no escape, no help, and the isolation raises the stakes. In the film, it's made apparent that if this alien life force, the Thing, escapes Antarctica, it could infect the entire world. The characters really have to be isolated for the story to work, and that just kind of adds to the dread. Third would be paranoia. By having the monster appear as human most of the time, who do you trust? And the bigger question is, can you even trust yourself? The film plays this out perfectly in the blood testing scene. If you know, you know.
We're gonna draw a little bit of everybody's blood. We're gonna find out who's the Thing. Watching Norris in there gave me the idea that maybe every part of him was a whole. Every little piece was an individual animal with a built-in desire to protect its own life.
And in my opinion, it's one of the best crafted scenes in horror. It's intentionally slow, building unbearable tension as no one in the room trusts anyone else, and the crescendo is perfect. A monstrous screech as one of the crew transforms.
We'll do you last.
And the whole room just erupts into chaos. It's brilliant. Another thing that this film is just so amazing at doing, I don't know, practical effects. The practical effects were just so ahead of its time, and honestly, if you watch this film now, I would argue that they still kind of land, if you know what I mean. They still hold up. That's the better word. The practical effects creator, supervisor, Rob Bottin was his name. He locked in to make this movie look the way it does. No CGI, just pure, disgusting, beautiful practical effects that still hold up. It's honestly refreshing to go back and see real physical effects instead of endless movies being filmed on sound stages with just endless green screens. Now, the ending, obviously, major spoilers if you haven't seen it. If you have seen it, obviously stick around. If you've not, go watch it, then come back. Anyway, so two characters, Child and McCready. are sitting in a burnt out ruin of the base, both exhausted, both suspicious of one another, and the film ends on a kind of cliffhanger. You never really find out who's human. It's bleak, it's ambiguous, and it's perfect. Horror, especially these days, rarely commits to that level of uncertainty, especially back then.
You the only one who made it?
Not the only one.
Did you kill it?
Where were you, Charles?
Thought I saw Blair. I went out after him.
And with the ending, fans have speculated for decades now about who, if anyone, was actually infected. For example, MacReady offers Charles a drink, which Charles accepts. Something that seems very odd considering the course of the film. They don't really know how the infection spreads. And yeah, there's shit tons of wild theories out there, but they're worth looking into. Some go a bit too crazy. The impact that this film has had is exceptional, but the film at the time did actually bomb. Critics hated it, audiences didn't really understand it, and E.T. was out at the same time, being all cute and friendly, little bitch. But over time, The Thing has kind of become a bit of a cult classic, and is considered one of the greatest horror films ever made now. Directors like Tarantino and Alex Garland cited it for influence. Quentin Tarantino, obviously, for The Hateful Eight, due to the isolated setting, no one trusts anyone. And Alex Garland for Annihilation, kind of similar vibe, body horror, monster type shit. The impact for this film, though, is literally anywhere. Even for recent times, you could look at films like The Substance. But yeah, it's also inspired other kind of genres other than film, for example, video games, like Dead Space, and weirdly enough, Among Us. Honestly, look at Among Us. It is The Thing, really. It's, isolated crew, monster that can imitate human life form, etc., etc., paranoia and such. Anyway, that's my kind of rant of my favorite film of all time. If it's in your top 10, top 4, whatever, let me know. And if you enjoyed this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I've got more movies, TV, and game content coming soon. Nice one. Peace.